Good Sunday evening, everybody. I'm Jason. Welcome back to the channel. We're just going to kind of do a little rough update, what we're kind of working on here, and what we've kind of got done on a few projects, and a couple things that we acquired from old Hobby Lobby. So let's get through that intro, and we'll talk about what we got done this weekend. Be right back. Alrighty, so let's get right into this video. We'll show you the two kits that we acquired from Hobby Lobby, and then we're going to talk about two projects that we're currently working on that we made a lot of modifications. I feel I got a lot done in the last few days. So first one is, this is kind of a new thing for me that I really have dug, is these curbside things. I think there should be almost a few more of these things, and maybe do more of them, because for me anyhow, a lot of my builds don't have the kit motors in them or tires. So these Craftsman Plus kits are really kind of neat. They got a nice insert tray in there. You can plop that in there, make it look like it's got a motor in it when you flip it upside down. Some of them, the hoods are already cut out. Some of them, you got to cut the hoods out if you're going to plop a motor in it. But you have lots of options. The only thing that, to me, you don't have nowhere near the amount of parts as you do with a kit that has all the motors and the exhaust stuff and all that. So the $33 is kind of a little bit high, if you ask me, for a curbside kit. But it is what it is. And they are obviously justifying it. They probably got to pay an artist to do the box. You got all the cost of the box, instruction sheets, the plastic. But you would like to think that these would be a little bit cheaper than, say, a kit that has all the motors in it. But nonetheless, I got one of these Barracudas. Really cool. This one here, I've been waiting to get for a while. When they first released this thing, they were gone like that, and that is this Nomad. This is a really cool kit. I wanted this thing for a while, the 60 Nomad. This kit, I want to get another one of these, and that way there I've got one ready to go. I only need two of these, but I really want to do one with a set of badass Pegasus on it, and just totally drop this thing in the weeds and just focus on getting kind of crazy with the paint job. This is a great canvas to do the paint job that I would like to try on there. Again, these are, they're still $33 for these kits. But even if I decide to put a motor in one of them, the first one I'm definitely going to do curbside. And if I do one where I put a motor in it, it's going to be a 3D printed motor nonetheless. And realistically, on something like this, I probably would want to put a 409 or a 348 or something like that in there. That would really look cool under the hood of this guy. So two great scores there. All right, now projects. Let's talk about where we're at with a couple projects. So shop truck, we have really started to detail out the Dodge diesel here, this Cummins. We've got the Dodge valve cover on it. Of course, this guy's not going to focus. That figures. We've kind of stained the exhaust manifold, started to stain this half of the turbo. This thing's coming together really well. We're trying to make this look like it's been used. We've got the body in the red oxide for what we're going to do with the layers of different colors. And also kind of doing some block sanding, and this really makes things stick out for me really well. We've already tubbed this thing because we're going to put airbags on this truck. We've got the underside all cleaned out in these areas as well. So we've got to do a little bit more primer work in there. The big thing that I was trying to do today is get this thing fully mocked up where all the wheels are pinned in. Got the front end done. We're just gotta figure out what we're gonna do at the back. This thing is so low that I'm gonna have to notch this up. Well, then that screws up my whole theme of what I'm doing, where I'm gonna have stuff in the box, being it's a shop truck, and I don't know if I want to do that. So I may have to do like a curbside rear end for this thing, so that I don't have to notch this out, and then I can do all the planks in there. I'm contemplating right now, so that's why I decided to stop and do this video and kind of explain some of the stuff we've gotten done in the last few days. Here's the cab, and again with the red oxide primer, it really showed all of the flaws and all of the mold lines, and then it was just easy to just really scrape that out, and then it, you know, defined that it was smoothed out. So now, like, the mold lines that are here, these cap corners are really nice. You can see right here we've got a low spot right there we've got to address. So we'll put a little bit of filler in there. I don't know what I'm going to use, if I'm going to use CA or if I'm going to use a Bondo glazing putty. But nonetheless, it's working really good. The drip rail up here was very faint and it looked like a mold line. So I just kind of used that as a guideline, and I'm going to put trim in there. So being it's kind of somewhat of a custom shops truck, we cut that in there, and we're going to sand the rest of that little ridge off of there, which will be really cool. So making some really good progress with this. And if you don't remember, this is the Warlock kit that we're building the shop truck out of. So, and I have a gentleman that's working on the decals for this thing too, making the logo. I kind of kicked around whether or not, like, if I should have like a phone number or something on the rear fender too for a shop truck. So a lot of times the old 50s shop trucks, they had something on the rear fender there too, you know, like advertisement, like oil changes, spark plugs, whatever, you know. So that'd be kind of cool too if it said, you know, we do oil changes, spark plugs, or whatever. If I just have like headers, custom chassis fab, something like that. I don't know. I'm just kind of spitballing right now. I'm just excited. I had fun working on this stuff. Now, the 55 Chevy drag and drive build, we have gone very extensive. We want to have stock frame rails in this car yet, but it's going to have some tubing, like additional, to make it, say, a 25.5 chassis for basically a high 7-second drag and drive car. We also are making this a drag radio, so it's going to have 315 drag radios on it, and I want it to be low, but we've done a lot of work here. So this here is what we've gotten done. So we had to recreate this floor pan again and this tunnel. We initially cut this all out in one big chunk to get that done, and in the process of doing that too is when I chopped out the frame rails, I then chopped out the frame rails even more so that I could trace the frame rail pattern out, recreated these frame rails, but yet now I have moved them in. I have sucked those things in there. I have a tubular brass cross member that goes in here already. We have some other brass tube pieces that all fit in here right now. So we're kind of smoothing some of this stuff out, and then also figuring out how we're going to do some of the floor work. We need to get a shock brace in here yet to mount the shock. We need to get the trailer hitch in here yet, and the parachute mount. All that stuff we got to fabricate yet. So that's kind of where we're at, but I needed to get this stuff to look like it was supposed to be put back in there. We've also done the same with the front. If any of you know, when these guys go crazy with building these drag cars that are really fast, they do a lot of tubular front end stuff, and if they do use the stock frame rails, they're more somewhat structure and somewhat cosmetic, that it shows that it has stock frame rails in it. So we have thinned them down. We have made them very petite like they would with a real fabrication. We have some tube here, and we have a full brass cross member that goes in here and ties into the frame rails as well, so it acts like a double frame rail. But we had to actually section these frame rails completely off the chassis, and then we've widened those frame rails due to the configuration of the headers on the SMX Steve Morris motor that's going in this thing. So we've got it dropped down quite a bit. The motor's very low in this car, and then where the headers were, I needed the width in there. So we've widened the frame rails on the front of this thing, and then that even made me have to move the inner wheel tubs in the front of this thing as well. So this, and so everybody knows, this is the AMT 55, so the blue and white box that you get at Hobby Lobby. So we've cut those out, and we've already moved those and repositioned them and widened them out, so you can see it's got a pretty good width to where the frame rails are. So we widened those things out. We've got those back in there. We have had to notch back the firewall with the package that we're putting in there. So we cut the firewall back. We've moved that back quite a bit to accommodate the motor. We've done a chin splitter add-on here. So we've done a lot of body work on the nose of this thing to get the way we want it. And then also I got crazy and decided to cut the doors open, and so we had to make all the door jambs, the hinges, all of that stuff in there. So there's a lot of aligning that goes into putting these things in there. Cutting these things out and getting them to work is a lot of work. So it's definitely worth it. It's very rewarding to do this type of tedious work, but you definitely got to have some patience with it. I'm enjoying the heck out of it. It's been a lot of fun doing this, and I got to figure out what I'm going to do for the posts. And then also I'd like to see if I can find the little Fisher stickers for the kick plate cards that go in there, door seals, the sills. That would be really cool if I could find the Fisher logos. But a lot of fun. I was tempted to do the trunk, but if I was to do the trunk on this thing, because I think we're gonna have somewhat of a spoiler coming off the back of this thing, not like Pro Mod crazy, but just something. I want it to still look like a 55. So then we would probably just do like a lift off deck lid on this thing, being that the hood is going to be lift off. But still been a lot of fun. I do have all the cage done for this, all out of brass. I have the interior tub. I would show you that right now, but the interior tub's in the Suzy Bake oven, because the interior tub, if anybody is familiar with the AMT kit, it's tapered quite a bit. So when you open the doors on this, the door cards and stuff have to come out, and the door cards, this tub is so narrow, I had to widen this thing out 1/8 of an inch on each side. So that means I had to widen it all out through the whole back section to get that to line up, and then work with all of this here that we had to make. And then the door cards, we've cut the door cards out of the interior tub, and they are inside here now. So those are the door cards. Then we styrene the whole door to make that jam work. So I had to do a lot of work on that. The fact that I decided to do it that way too, I also decided to save the back seats. So this car will have the back seat in it, which is really cool. And we had to make that even 1/4 inch longer, so 1/8 inch on each side. I just decided, being it was going to be a street car, we could do the cage up and over it, and we're going to have the back seat in there. So that's going to do it for me. I hope you're having a great Sunday. We'll see you on the next one. Stay cool out there, because it is extremely hot. It's going to be another hot week. I'm looking forward to getting this work week done. We are going to be at the Summer Nats Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the Minnesota State Fairground, the Street Machine Summer Nationals. That should be a lot of fun. And then after that, the next weekend, the 24th weekend, 48-hour group build. So tune in live. AMC will be live for the 48-hour group build. We'll probably announce it on Friday or Thursday what time zone or what times we will be live. But we're gonna have Craig on there as well, and we're just gonna help support the 48-hour group build. So see you all in the next one. Peace out, everybody. Somebody say, "Hey, Bonnie!" Whoa.